area, moving towards the area, hopefully taking it slow and easy under these downpours. But once again, moving towards the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. So see, time now 6:01. So we're now into the 6 o'clock hour. We've got about 29 minutes left on these. Main concern right now, 321. If you're in Chester County, if you're in York County, you can see right here, this is the storm tracker moving towards Gaston County. I think he's headed towards the south. This is Brandon Goldner and other crew members. He's not driving, obviously, but he's moving towards the south there. So rain's picking up. That's something else I want you to know. You love to see those pictures going viral on Facebook and Twitter, but now's not the time to do that. It's dark, and these are rain-wrapped potential tornadoes. So you're not going to see much. You're going to hear it. You're going to hear the wind picking up, but the main concern here, the bigger picture, are these two tornado warnings. Most of our area, the Piedmont, under a severe thunderstorm. You can't let your guard down in one of those either. Wind could gust up to 50 or 60 miles per hour. Good to see some power outages. I hope we're going to be checking on those power outages here in the next little bit as well. But in the pictures, if you are able to capture anything, is on social media. Now I'm stepping off the screen really quick. Stay with me though. We are going to take a look at the latest. I'm going to kind of be behind the scenes here and show you exactly the main area. So this is I'm going to turn off radar for you so you can see exactly where it is. So this is Chester and York County until 6:30. We've got two separate tornado warnings. Okay, so this is where we're zooming in. Look how fast they're moving. We saw these develop here just, 6 minutes ago, and they're already halfway through their warned area. So we're going to zoom in here. So I like to look at this. You see inbound, outbound up here in the right-hand screen. That's showing you the wind going towards the radar and rain going away from the radar. So we just got an update here at 6:03. A tornado warning for Chester and York until 6:30. At 6:02, a confirmed tornado was located 4 miles southwest of York or near Sharon, moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So this is a confirmed tornado right about here. It said 4 miles southwest of York. So as we pan up here, 4 miles south, right here where we were watching this, I'm going to draw it on the screen for you. A confirmed tornado crossing over 321. It looks like moving northeast at 40 miles per hour. So I'm going to use our tracking features here and show you. Let's see. So this is moving 40 miles an hour. That's really fast. If you're listening to me right now, my friends in Newport, Rock Hill, just south of York, you're probably a little startled right now, but what I want you to do is stay calm. Turn your TV up loud. I'm going to talk you through this because guess what? This storm's moving really fast. That's good news, right? So this warning will be in and out of here before you know it. So this is Delphilia. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. You are just now really hearing the wind pick up as well as probably some lightning and thunder. So we are looking at this, pushing towards the east at about 40 miles per hour, kind of looking over my shoulder here, trying to get the latest. The spotter here is 3 miles west-southwest of McConnell's in South Carolina. So we're looking at a possible tornado also in Chester County, crossing over 121, moving towards 321. This is where I'm kind of seeing the signature a little stronger. Not necessarily saying that it's a confirmed tornado, but it's closer to the radar. And as you see that scan just updated, it's still present. Okay, if you're just joining us, Sarah Fortner here, the voice behind the screen. We've got two tornado warnings going until 6:30 for Chester and York. All of us, most of us rather, under a severe thunderstorm warning. So that means a lot of us are hearing the wind and the rain pick up outside, but it's Chester and York County in South Carolina that we are watching for the potential of a tornado. Now this is a thunderstorm moving towards the east at about 40 to 50 miles per hour. And the problem is this line of storms, that jagged nature, you can see it here moving towards the east. That is where you could see the potential spin up. Now this is a loop here. See those colors contrasting right there just south of Chester? That's where we're seeing possible rotation of a thunderstorm producing a tornado. So it's not confirmed here near Chester, crossing over. Let's see, that's just near 321. But it's Great Falls. You're under a tornado. You're just on the fringe, rather, but you're probably hearing the wind and rain pick up. Lancaster, you're not in the warning right now, but it is time to kind of think ahead. You are under a watch box. So you need to be starting to prepare yourself to what's next, because this storm is moving really fast towards the east, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Now, I want to show some other attention, because while you're watching us, we're talking about the tornadoes in South Carolina. We are going to be seeing these severe thunderstorms march across the entire Piedmont. If we can take a picture of can we take the storm tracker video? Here you have it. Wind picking up, and you'll also notice in those high-profile vehicles as well that you'll feel this sway. So this is in Gaston County. I'm going to zoom into where the storm tracker is. Here it is. He is headed towards Chester. So is he on 321? Can you ask him if he is on 321? Okay. All right. So he is right in the brunt of it, being safe. I'm watching the roads here. Not many people on it, but boy, what terrible timing for rush hour. Okay, so McConnell's, you are almost in the clear as far as that potential rotation going. Still really windy in the area. Moving down towards Chester. Chester, if you're listening right now, the rain is laying it down out there, so just turn up your TV, get into your safe place, and I'm going to talk you through this. Chester, you are in the brunt of this storm. Richburg, you are next. Friends and family traveling down 77, you need to be careful, because you're under a tornado warning. It's raining really hard and it's dark. So you need to get to your safe place. I don't care if you're looking at radar, maybe you're listening to me on the radio or on social media platforms. You need to be getting to the nearby sturdy building, to the safe place. Now, once again, this is not the outbreak that Alabama, Mississippi saw. You have to remember that. These are brief, isolated tornadoes. We're going to check in with Brandon. He's going to give us the latest on what he's seeing, what he's hearing as he drives down 321 towards Chester County.
Yes, Sarah, you can hear from the microphone the heavy rain coming through. And this is just a look at our dashboard, and the camera brightens up the set. We haven't had a chance to check on power outages yet, but we do plan on checking that right now as Willie is driving, and I'll be checking on the power outages. But this is a view right now of what we're seeing. The camera brightens up a little bit, but you can see the heavy rain. Even with the windshields going at full power, it's still very treacherous driving through here.
Good, Brandon. Well, how many people are you seeing the traffic any heavier or lighter than what you would normally expect at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday?
Well, I'll switch you over to the roof camera. This is the other side of the highway. You can see its drivers coming through. It's black and white just because of the darkness outside. This is all the lights from drivers coming home from Charlotte. It's pretty heavy right now. This is the usual time when it's heavy on 85, and as we get closer more towards Belmont, that's when you'll start seeing the traffic get really tight. But right now, heading towards Charlotte right now, it looks pretty light, but coming from Charlotte through Gastonia and Gaston County, it's very heavy. Again, this is what we're seeing right now. It's starting to lighten up a little bit, but even with the camera, and the camera lightens up the settings just a little bit, it's still very heavy.
Good deal. I'm trying to gather some information right here. I'm getting reports in of just the continuance of this warning. So I need you to be really safe, Brandon. What are the skies in between those showers? So as you can see right here, just folks driving, see some hazard lights there on that vehicle. That's good news. I'm trying to get some information here. So I'm getting reports from Simpsonville and near Greenville. This is the same system now, same part of line of the thunderstorm with confirmed damage. So here's the big picture. Let's go back to the wall. If you're just joining us, maybe getting home getting the kids in. We've got 2 tornado warnings for York and Chester County. York and Chester County. We've got, let's do the math here, 19 minutes left on these warnings. This is going till 6:30. Chester and York County. We're all getting rain, and even outside our studio right now, I'm starting to hear some of the rain pick up as I kind of pan up, or at least try to pan up. I can show you that uptown is certainly getting some rain right now, but I'm focusing on the potential rotation, the potential tornadoes here in York County and Chester County. Do not be alarmed, okay? This is not the time to panic, but it is the time to go to the bottom floor, okay? Not upstairs. Upstairs is a bad idea. Into a closet or a bathroom. Even if you are seeing the rain, but you may think you got a few more minutes, it's not the time. If you are under a warning, it's ready, set, go. It is time to get into your safe place. So this is near 77. So kind of zoom in here. Let's see. So this looks like it's just now crossing over 321 right here and moving towards the east, 40 to 50 miles per hour. Bigger picture shows the rain picking up in uptown as well as up towards Hickory, Lenore. That's starting to back down actually. Concord over to, let's see, Iredell County seeing the rain, hearing the rain too, picking up. Not a lot of thunder in these though. It's just very wind energy packed system.
Sarah, you keep talking about how this is a tornado warning and a lot of folks are listening and watching where they can in a safe place right now, and you say it's not a time to panic. But I think it's important, too, also to note the difference between a warning and a watch, because you say this is not a time to panic, right?
Right. This is not the time to panic, but it is time to go into your safe place. So a watch is what we were talking about earlier when we talk about those convective outlooks. We're like, okay, we have a low risk, medium risk of severe weather. We've known about this all day, so now it's the time to move into your safe place. And the good thing, Fred, is these are moving really quickly. So I'm Rock Hill right now. If you're listening to me talking you through this, rain is really picking up, especially along I-77, as you see right here, really picking up. But before you know it, this is going to be past. So just stay put, and we'll talk you through this. So McConnell's, I think the brunt of the storm is now past you. It's now moving closer to Rock Hill. Let's see.
So the big issue, I guess we're talking specifically people you say in the Rock Hill south of Clover, but what do people in Charlotte, what do our viewers and listeners in Charlotte need to worry about at this point?
So with Charlotte in particular, we are now under a severe thunderstorm warning. So that means the wind is really kicking out there. We're talking 60, 50 mile per hour wind gusts, which can certainly take the siding off a house, can do some trees down, causing power outages. We are getting some reports of sporadic power outages, but I think more is going to develop here in the next, say, 15, 20 minutes, because these storms are now working their way through very heavily populated areas. So we're going to see more trees down, thus more power lines down with more power outages. So if you get a flashlight, I think we should be streaming on our NBC Charlotte Facebook page, so that's good news. And I think Brad Panovich may be going live as well. So if you do lose power, your TV goes off, that's where you can find us. And on social media, we'll be updating you there. But it looks like right now the brunt of the stuff, the heavy rain pushed through Charlotte, starting to taper off. We're going to have one more little batch or bunch of heavy downpours here in the next 30 minutes, and then it should be past. But, you know, my focus right now is certainly on Rock Hill. Let's see. See how these, let's see. So the orange right here and the yellow right here, that's where we're seeing those contrasting directions up in the sky. That's where we see that possible rotation. It's very difficult to see in Rock Hill because it's so far away from the radar, but if you push towards Chester, you can see exactly that contrast right here.
Mm-hmm. So severe thunderstorm warning for Mecklenburg County.
That is correct.
At a Matthews. So I take it you're talking specifically too about how people, if they have power outages, they can get us on social media. They can also get us on our app too. It's a good time to remind people, I guess, that we should download our WCNC mobile app and make sure that your mobile devices are charged. If you still have electricity at this point, especially since we're anticipating there could possibly be power outages, you want to make sure that you can plug those in and charge them up.
Exactly. That's a great idea. If your phone's not charging and you've got power, wouldn't be a bad idea to do it right now. Wouldn't be a bad idea at all. So I'm kind of looking here at the latest. Looks like they took off some of the warning. I'm getting some information right here, but we are seeing still in Mecklenburg County the rain picking up. Okay, zooming out, zooming down, Rock Hill, Chester. Still under that tornado warning, Rock Hill is, but not all of, say, Sharon and not all of York County currently under tornado warning. So that's really great news that they kind of peeled it back off the backside, but they haven't extended the front part of it yet. So that's a good indication that the rotation could be weakening. So here it is in motion. Transition to radar here. Sometimes that's could be easier, could be more difficult to see depending on where you are. So Rock Hill, it is raining cats and dogs on you right now. It's probably sounding really scary, but I'm going to talk you through it. Let's see, Great Falls, you are also under this warning, so not leaving you out. You are further south, but certainly getting the wind and rain picking up in your area. Let's see, getting some new information. So we are continuing the tornado warning until 6:30, and at 6:15, a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was 10 miles east of Chester. So if you're in Chester right now, you're listening to me, probably hearing the rain starting to back down. That's good news. You are now essentially, basically in the clear. Now, it's still windy with this thunderstorm, but Richburg, you are my main concern right now as the wind picks up, the rain is laying it down. Could be seeing your lights flicker. Rock Hill, same for you. TKK. Pineville, you're not under this tornado warning, but certainly really windy where this thunderstorm is pushing towards you. Okay, so I'm going to do the metro view. Focus on folks in Uptown right now. Rain certainly picking up. You see those bright colors. But this is not a tornado. This is just a severe thunderstorm warning in your area, but you need to be maybe off the roads, away from some windows because the wind is picking up. I'm joined now also with my chief meteorologist, Brad Panovich, just walked in the door doing some team coverage here. I wonder how your drive-in was, Brad.
It was horrible. Let's just say that. The roads are incredibly wet out there right now, which is really slowing down a lot of the roadways. And the area that we're most concerned about, as Sarah was pointing out, was this little signature, which we're seeing right over Tega Cay. This is what we call a tornado debris signature. And this was very pronounced back near York, and it's been moving this way. And what this is the dual pole Doppler radar essentially picking up debris. And this time of year, it's most likely leaves, because if you got a swirl of wind or you possibly have a tornado, the first thing, the lightest object to be picked up is going to be leaves. And let me back this up just to show you the progress of this signature. Do you see it around York? You see that kind of lighter colors? If you see the dark maroon, that means everything's the same shape. When we see these lighter shades, that means there's things of different shape in the air, and typically debris is going to be different size. Raindrops are pretty uniform. And as this has been pushing off to the east, I've been tracking this very carefully on the way in. This is heading towards the southern end of Lake Wylie. So that's why we're seeing the tornado warning there in York County. But as Sarah was mentioning, in Chester County, we had a pretty tight circulation there as well, but we don't have that debris signature right now. The other thing is the winds. I mean, the winds have been incredible with this line of storms. Let me go back and show you the velocity. You see all those bright colors? Those are winds that are blowing towards the east at 50 to 60 miles an hour. So even without a tornado, there's a good chance we probably are going to see some type of tree damage with this line as it's pushing to the east. But Sarah, that was the one thing that caught my eye immediately. At night, obviously, if you don't have spotter information, the one beauty of dual pole Doppler radar, while it doesn't give you a heads up that the tornado is on the ground, but when it does hit something, it starts picking it up. And you can see that signature. What I'm talking about right there is right there. And this, let me put a track on this, because this is the most dangerous part of this storm. I'm going to put a track on that debris signature because it's moving northeast pretty quickly. Let me actually take that off and go back to this real quick because I want to put the speed. It's moving about, what's the speed on that?
40 to 50 miles per hour.
Okay,
I'd
yeah.
average it at 45.
Yeah, at one point I saw, is moving somewhere on the orders of 50 miles an hour. So let's put it a little faster than that, just so people have better warning, because I'd rather you be safe than sorry. Yeah. So we'll put that warning up for these areas where the debris is heading, the debris signature. And so Fort Mill should be there within 5 minutes, if not sooner. Pineville, 6:31. Marvin, 6:35. Providence, 6:38. Matthews, Indian Trail, Mint Hill, Monroe. And this is, remember, this is all if it's still on the ground. The fact that we have debris, and remember, just to show you what the radar can see, it may be seeing debris that's lofted in the air. So the tornado could have lifted, and these are still leaves that are flying around in the air. So we'll wait for another volume scan, and I think we'll probably know a lot more as this gets a little bit closer to the radar. And here's the velocity data again. And this is here. I'm going to zoom in real close. You see Newport here, south of Tega Cay. This is a strong circulation couplet as well. So we've got numerous products that the radar is showing us that we've got strong rotation within the cell, and the fact that we're picking up that debris signature was something that really had me concerned the second I saw this warning come out. And I'm going to go back in time, and this is back at 5:56. Do you see that? See that right there?
Right, that's right when it dropped down.
So this was south of Hickory Grove. That's a tornado, folks. It's not a radar indicated. That's basically as good as seeing it with your real eyes, because that the radar is picking up debris. We know something is being lofted into the air, and you can see how that spreads north and east towards York. The signature gets a little broader. This is likely because the leaves and debris are spreading out and maybe getting lofted higher in the air. Moves over Newport, and now that it's broader, there's certainly something still there. And again, it may be that the tornado is lifted. My guess would be that we're getting leaves lofted in the air, and that's why we're getting that signature showing up on the radar. So let's go break back down through all of these warnings we have in effect. We've got several severe thunderstorm warnings. Those are for damaging winds, but obviously the most prominent warning right now is the 2 tornado warnings. And let's not discount the Chester one, but let's focus on the storm that definitely looks to me has a much higher impact and possibility of producing a tornado, and that's this storm right around Fort Mill, Tega Cay. It's moving towards the Carowinds exit right now on I-77. Let me put a track on this, and I'm going to do a really small track here to kind of get it down to the neighborhood level. So Forest Lake, Pineville, Tuckaway Park, those are the communities that you need to seek shelter right now. What you need to do is crank up your TV or bring your phone with us streaming on it. Go to your safe place, either a closet, an interior bathroom, the lowest level of your house. If you do not have a basement, and many folks don't, obviously, you want to get down to that into that room that's in the middle of the house. The middle of the house.
Okay, Brad, so I just checked in with the assignment desk,
Yep.
and we do have 2 reporters on the way out en route towards the area to see what we can see, obviously doing it safely. I think we're going to be checking in with some here shortly. So Savannah is in York County right now, and we're going to check in with her. Savannah, how's it going down there? What are you seeing?
Hey, it's going all right here. You guys have me on the phone now. I'm in Rock Hill off Dave Lyle Boulevard. I think we're hopefully going to pull up some video I just shot for you. But the rain's definitely coming in. Not too long ago, we got that emergency alert on our phone saying, seek shelter. And the road's clear pretty quick after that. Yeah, you're seeing that video now on your screen. I was driving from York to Rock Hill, and you can see a lot of people pull over, definitely trying to seek shelter sooner rather than later. But you can see, not much lightning or thunder, and I think, Sarah, you mentioned that earlier. But definitely, the sky's kind of an eerie color. Rain's coming down definitely consistently. And you also got to keep in mind that a lot of these folks, we've been in a drought a really long time, aren't used to driving in the rain, let alone rushing home in the rain. So definitely getting home safely, a good thing to remind people of right now. And like you guys mentioned, charging those devices. The lights have been flickering a little bit here where I am. So that's definitely a good tip as well.
Thanks, Savannah.
All right, let's go back to the radar. It's good news that we're getting reports that of nothing in that area, because that tells me that the debris signature is just leaves now lofted in the air, and it's much weaker now. We haven't had any damage reports in central York County yet, but we haven't had anybody down in that area. That's a pretty rural area. And again, these could just have been leaves that have been sucked up and showing up on the radar. I'd rather see leaves on the radar than 2x4s or shingles or parts of homes. That's what you don't want to see. But this time of year, I think we saw a lot of this in northern Georgia with these storms. In the north side of Atlanta, they were picking up a lot of leaves, which was making these pronounced debris signatures, kind of almost like a really a good signature right there of likely some leaves. You see how tiny it is? That's likely to circulation and probably touch down. And let me just, for folks just joining us, I'll kind of show you what this looks like. If we can go back to weather 1, guys. We can't have, actually, we have weather, that's weather 2 over there. You can see the rain moving through the area. There we go. Let me just highlight what we're talking about right here. This was the tornado debris signature picked up on first warn Doppler radar. It was very tight there. This was at 5:56 p.m. And then about a minute later, I think we just got a new warning issued for Mecklenburg County. So they're going to continue this warning for this storm into Mecklenburg County. So this is a new tornado warning, folks, for southern Mecklenburg County, Union, York, and Cabarrus County. This is until 7 o'clock this evening. I think they still want to warn for this storm because it's had such a strong signature. And let me go to our, whoa.
Yeah.
Okay, so there we go, folks. That signature right there, right on 49. This is just north of the Buster Boyd Bridge, coming up through the Rivergate community, heading towards Westinghouse and 485. That is a strong signature right there. And if you guys get this in the key, I'm going to go over to the key wall and kind of explain what's going on here. What you're looking at right now are northeast winds here in these bright colors and southwest winds here. So the winds are going like this, and in between, you've got strong rotation. So that is certainly an indication that we've got strong circulation in the air. If we start to see debris with leaves getting lofted, then we're going to be concerned this is a tornado. So this is 49, South Tryon. This is where that super Walmart is right there, the Lowe's. As you go towards the outlet malls, going on 485, there's Arrowwood, there's Westinghouse, Max Barbecue down there, right off of 49 there, just north of the Rivergate area. So this crossed over basically McDowell Nature Preserve and then is moving through the Steel Creek and southwestern Mecklenburg County. That is a very strong signature on first warn Doppler radar. So new warning now for southern Mecklenburg County. I'll get out of the way and you can see there. It's going to be for southern Mecklenburg, southern Cabarrus, the northern tip of Union, and a small section there, basically the Carowinds area of York County. And Sarah, that's pretty impressive right there.
This is a 15-minute loop, too, and you just see how it kind of drops down. That's what we're seeing with these. Yeah. It kind of picks up and then it starts to recirculate. It's just approaching 485, approaching 45.
Let's go in real close there, and let's put a storm track on this because I want to make sure we give people a good heads up on this. So this is the tornado. It'd be right in between those two colors. We call that a shear couplet, and that's typically how we detect tornadoes on Doppler radar. But then we start to see debris. That just gives us further confirmation. So Sharon Brook and Old Providence between 6:34 and 6:40 this evening, folks. That is a really strong signature. And again, we're looking at the radar out of Mountain Island Lake. You can see it spinning up there just to the north of Uptown. So this radar has an extremely close look at this. I'm going to switch back to our dual pole product. And in that same area, it doesn't look like much, but what I'm seeing right there of Westinghouse and 49 South Tryon, that's a debris signature right there. If we're going to get damage reports, they're going to come out of this area right here. So I know the guys in the booth are listening to me, and the gals. This would be an area that we got to keep an eye on the southwest side of Charlotte. So let me put another storm track. Boy, this is heading right towards South Charlotte, everybody. This is the most populated part of the county, actually. So heading towards Sterling, Old Providence, Matthews, Hoods, Mitt Hill, and then Clear Creek. But this is going to move pretty much through South Boulevard. It's going to head basically towards Myers Park, Dilworth. Then it's going to head into East Charlotte, over towards areas of Plaza Midwood, Idlewild, and then towards the north side of Mint Hill. If you're in Pineville, Ballantyne area down there to Providence, this is going to pass to your north. You're under the warning, but I'm tracking the circulation that the Doppler radar is seeing. and this will give you a good indication. So let me pinpoint that again. There's the communities in the path of that. So really strong circulation. Now it's weakening. There was a new volume scan, which is good news. We're getting a scan from this radar every minute. So you can see around Arrowwood. Let me go in close. We'll kind of pinpoint some of these roads. Archdale, Yorkdale. Those are the areas that are seeing the circulation, at least on first warn Doppler radar.
Okay, if we can take weather too. Oh man, hold on one second. I have sliced the storm in half. Okay, so what you're looking at right here. Let's see here.
Oh yeah.
So there you have it. The kind of the green and the red right about here, right, Brad?
Yeah, I'll go over the wall. So I kind of, and what Sarah's doing is she's taking our 3D Doppler slicer, and right in here, there's basically, we have strong rotation going on in here. And what you're looking at for in this is you're looking for winds going back and forth. And if you imagine if you had a paper towel roll or a pencil and you move your hands like that, the paper towel roll or the pencil would spin. That's what we're looking at on the Doppler radar. It's causing the circulation in between those two areas to spin. So right where that interface is between the red and the green, that's where the tornado is. And again, that's in southwestern Mecklenburg County, right off of Archdale and South Tryon. This is an area, boy, and I tell you what, I came in that way, Sarah, and there are a ton of people on I-77 right now. Traffic is backed up in both directions, and a vehicle is probably the worst
place to be.
I
touched on that earlier. You know, just simple phone call to someone in the area may be the best idea, to just get to a gas station, get into the cooler, any just sturdy building, because a ditch, an underpass, all the worst ideas.
Yeah, you want to pull over. If someone in the car, if you know somebody's driving home, they're stuck in traffic, give them a call. Say, hey, can you pull over? Get to the side of the road even. Hunker down. I would not want to drive into this. Now, if they're already on 45, it's already past them. So they're okay. This is really 77. And this is close to the station. This is just to the south of the station here, where we're seeing this strong circulation. I'm looking at the dual pole data again, and it's hard to tell.
Look what I'm seeing right here. So it's crossing over the intersection of 49, it looks like Tryon, and then moving towards 77. You can't tell if this is necessarily on the ground right now, but that kind of signature, something's rotating out of the sky.
Yeah, so we've got the DOT cam, 77 South Tryon. This I was talking about. Look at all that traffic there. And folks traveling south are heading right into that area. So hopefully they're aware. This is, if you know where Tyvola and 77 come together right there, you got the Costco right off of there. That's the general area this is moving towards.
There's a lot of car dealerships in that area too, if I'm not mistaken.
Old Pineville Road there. It's going to cross over to South Boulevard, and then you're moving into Myers Park and Dilworth. You're heading towards the Selwyn area, the Park Road area. That's kind of the track it's taking, just based on the movement. I'm going to put another track on it here, and if we bring it back up, of course, it's going to track just by cities, not by neighborhoods. So Idlewild and Rama, it's talking about 645-ish or so, but I'll zoom in and kind of show you the neighborhoods.
The good news is, too, it's picked up speed moving east at 55 miles per hour, so that's a good thing, I think.
Yeah, so you're looking at Cherry Crest Lane, Tyvola, where it crosses over. I mean, boy, this time of day, I just know there's so many cars on these roads.
And it's dark.
Yeah. Tough situation to be in here when you've got, and the thing is, there's no thunder and lightning. These are low top showers that basically have no thunder and lightning with them. We've had an incredible amount of wind shear today and not much warmth to feed in. So there's our circulation right there. It's really broad now. It's broadened out, so maybe it's weakened just a little bit, but this is the area of concern. And like we've seen with a lot of the tornadoes today in Georgia and into South Carolina and now North Carolina, these things have spun up really quickly and then they spin down. So the reason we're still giving the warning is, even though it's weakened now, it might perk back up with the next scan of the radar as it moves over Tyvola and South Boulevard. That would be an area that we would definitely be concerned about. So I'm not hearing about any damage reports coming in right now. I'm taking a look at our spotters. Haven't seen anybody, but the tornado on, basically where we were showing it, Weather Service was concerned with 7745, right when it spun up. But we would probably start to get some reports now in this area. I'm checking with some of my spotters to see if we've got any damage reports down there. And again, it'd be really hard for you to see this. All you would see is a bunch of rain and leaves go flying by and probably wonder what it was. But in this case, that's the tornado warning. So just to update you on the warnings we have in effect, a new warning was issued for Lancaster County, the whole county. That was for that southern circulation. I don't want to discount that area. And it's kind of odd because we've got these tornado warnings now for most of the metro area. And I think they're gonna have to expand this into Union County at some point.
Yep, just did until 7 p.m.
Okay, yeah, that would be my next guess, is they would have to do that, because here's the thing, you run into government jurisdiction issues with these counties. These storms don't just stop at the county line. This is about what office is issuing the warning. So when we're putting out these storm tracks, we're just warning based on where you live, not on the county line or anything. So let me put a track on this whole line, because honestly, that's the most dangerous part of the storm. We froze it up here. Let me try that again. We'll try to draw this out and show you the movement of the storm.
77 Tybola now is on your screen. This is a traffic cam showing you. Oh man, it's not pretty.
Yeah, so we're looking, these are southbound cars, I believe, on the right, if I'm not mistaken.
We are broadcasting to our app, correct? Is that correct? We should be live on our app. Now's the time to make sure, if you have husband, wife, kiddos traveling in the area, just find the nearest exit. It's not worth it. Getting home in time for something is just not worth it. This is a line of storms with a history of damage reports, so it's something to be taken seriously.
Yeah, so I put a track on this whole line, and if it continues pushing the way we think it's going to be moving, Marvin, it should be there momentarily. Mint Hill, and here's the thing about this line, even if there's not a tornado in this line, there's been a history of 50 to 60 mile an hour winds. So the concern would be for straight line winds as well as the tornadoes. The tornadoes are going to be very tiny in this main line. And there's an updated volume scan, Sarah, and look at that. It's still, so Colony and Park, this is basically the area that where Colony comes down to Tyvola. This is around South Park Mall. So South Park Mall is basically, let me go right in here. It's in the middle of your
Sharon
screen.
Road.
Yeah, so you see Fairview, and you see that's South Park Mall right there. So if the tornado is on the ground, it's actually just to the northwest. It's right in this area right here, because what you have going on, and these winds are coming from the south here. The red are winds going away from the radar, and then right in between, again, remember, this is like if you take like a paper towel roll or a pencil, just imagine that if you had the winds go in those directions, you would actually be causing circulation right there. So let me go in real close. Colony Road heads up, pretty much anywhere from Fairview all the way back towards Myers Park High School. So this is going to pass just, it looks like south of Myers Park High School, heading east pretty much on Woodlawn as it turns into Runnymede, and then moves east towards Independence and 16. So this is the track, and I'll put the track. The circulation is right there.
Brad, how do we take into consideration right now the distance of this from the radar? Is that,
well, the good news with this radar is we're using the radar in Mountain Island Lake, so we're getting a really good view of this one. If we're using the Greer radar, we would be looking at like 6,000 feet in the air.
Right.
From the radar up at Mountain Island Lake, we're only looking at maybe 800-900 feet off the ground.
Right.
So we know the circulation is still intact there, and the fact that it looks this strong, and it's almost, if you look carefully, you can actually see it kind of swirling.
right?
The winds are wrapping around like this, so you can actually see the circulation showing up very clearly on first warn Doppler radar. And where that circulation is right now, we'll go in real close. It's on Carriage Boulevard, or Carnegie Boulevard, excuse me, Barclay Downs, heading towards Wickersham Road and Colony. So this is just on the north side, northwest side, if you will, of the South Park Mall, Madison Park area, right in that area as well.
Let's check in with Brandon. He's actually in the storm tracker right now, the Chevy storm tracker. Brandon, what are you seeing, and what's traffic like, importantly?
Well, you can see from the dash camera we have right now that traffic is heavy. We're on Arrowwood Road. We just got off of Interstate 77 going northbound. I'm going to switch to the roof camera. We're going to switch up and you can see a little bit of the cars on 77 that are still basically stuck in traffic. It's both sides of the highway. We've also seen kind of issues with Highway 485, just a lot of traffic, a lot of people. It's really, as you guys have been talking about, bad timing for this storm to come in right as it's rush hour, right as people are trying to get home from work. It's been so much traffic. We were just coming from Cleveland County and Gaston County, that's where a lot of people who work in Charlotte are trying to get home to, and just so much traffic out there. Let's switch on over back to the roof camera, and I'm going to pan this down, and you can see the slickness of the road. You can see the traffic lights and how, and just like right there with the, we had to stop suddenly because of the traffic lights and them turning so suddenly. You can see how the lights are reflecting off the road from the rain, and you can also see the rain, just the heavy rain pattering down, even though we're kind of on the tail end of it. As you guys have been mentioning, the brunt of the storm has kind of been passing this area. We're still seeing a lot of rain. We're going to switch back over to the dashboard camera right now. Again, still a lot of traffic, still obviously trying to be safe out there. And just so I make clear to the viewers at home, I'm not actually driving. I have one of our photojournalists driving me, so to make sure we stay safe. And of course, we urge you to stay safe, especially from talking to law enforcement all the time, the issue of cell phones, definitely putting down those cell phones when driving, if you are driving right now. But like you guys have said, getting to a safe place. So we're going to start heading towards Shopton Road. That's where our desk told us, just checking in to see what's going on over there. So I'll toss it back over to you guys right now.
All right, Brandon, thank you very much. I'm getting some of my followers on Twitter reporting around Barclay Downs, a transformer blew. Also right there in the South Park area, acorns and sticks were pelting their car as they were driving through that area. So clearly something moved through there. And then I had a mom who said her son worked at Autobell there at South Tryon and Westinghouse. Said that winds were really strong as the storm moved through there, and certainly looked like something moved through there because there was a lot of debris being blown around. So at the very least, we're getting damaging winds, which are knocking down a lot of trees, maybe blowing transformers as this is moving towards the northeast at about 50 miles an hour. You can see the relation to Uptown. Uptown's just at the top of your screen. Right. And let me track that again just to show you
after that,
the circulation.
Brad, we do have Xavier. He's live in Uptown. I'd be really interested to see just what it's like there. After you track that, let's check in with Xavier.
Hey, Sarah, yeah, the rain, it's starting to die down a little bit, but it was really coming down earlier, especially when we got those emergency alerts over our phones, tornado warning in this area until 7 o'clock. Now, just over my shoulder here, there are people taking shelter underneath bus stops. We actually just spoke to a woman that was walking out here. She said she was here for protests. Now, she is the only one that we've seen here at the CMPD headquarters. Just driving around, though, you could obviously tell there is some standing water, but not too terribly bad. Even our photographer driving home or driving to this live shot particularly, he was speaking to his wife over the phone, and you could just hear that she was a little frightened as well, and he was telling her to take shelter because you never know really when weather is going to turn and which way, especially with this tornado warning. So as we're out here, we're looking for people, but there aren't many. The ones we can see from our vantage point are really just over there taking shelter underneath a bus stop. As far as protesters, we have seen a few photos on social media, but we really haven't seen too many other than that. But police are still over there at the headquarters, but nothing much as far as protesters. More so a weather story right now as we're bracing for what other weather may be coming our way. Live in Uptown, Xavier Walton, back to you guys.
Thanks, Xavier.
All right, Xavier, thank you very much, guys. We can come back to the key wall with Weather 1 in there. You can see the circulation that I'm tracking right now. So here we go. This is Independence. The circulation is now heading towards basically the Plaza Midwood area. You could see just to the north and east now of basically Dilworth, Myers Park, heading towards Independence, heading towards Ottawa. What you're looking at right here, these greens are the strong winds going this direction. The reds are the winds coming around. So the circulation is probably right in this area here. So as this moves off to the north and the east, it's going to cross over Independence and then move into East Charlotte and the Idlewild area. So we'll have to see if this warning gets extended, because the one thing I'm noticing, Sarah, that the circulation has not really abated at all. If anything, it looks as strong as it was earlier. So Monroe Road, this is the area right here where the circulation is, North Sharon Amity. So where that meets up with Monroe Road, this is right where the circulation is, and it's moving in this direction. So let me grab an arrow here and kind of show you. It's moving off in this direction at about 50 miles an hour.
Right.
So
if you can transfer to weather 2, I'm going to show you some ETAs that I have. 644 right now near Idlewild. Will Grove at 6:49, so you've got about less than 5 minutes before this is moving really quickly. So you need to just get in your safe place and stay put until the warning is expired. We also just got the news that Charlotte Douglas is at a ground stop due to the high winds with these thunderstorms, tornado or not. These are damaging winds, folks. 50, 60 miles per hour can do significant damage to your home, and especially these thunderstorms did have a history of near Simpsonville and Greenville, picked up and spun a car. So tornado or not, these winds can rattle you.
yeah, and I'm getting reports that there was a tractor trailer reportedly overturned by the wind at Westinghouse in South Tryon. That's exactly where we plotted that circulation earlier. So that was not too far from that report from the mom whose son was working at Autobell and said there was stuff flying all over the place right there on South Tryon and Westinghouse. So that same cell, which has prompted the warning, and as we've seen several reports of at least debris swirling around, is now crossing over 74 Independence Boulevard, moving towards the northeast. This is going to move just through Idlewild and then Marlwood Acre, and then it's going to cross 24. It's heading over Hickory Grove Road, Farm Pond Lane. Everyone knows this area. You know this area very well. This is the area you should be seeking shelter. If you just heard those roads, or you live in this area, if you live in Plaza Midwood, North Sharon Amity, go ahead and seek shelter. Now, the next folks who got to start thinking about your safe spot are going to be on the north side of Mint Hill, not in Mint Hill, but just north, heading up towards 24. And this goes into southern Cabarrus County. So southern Cabarrus County next would be the area. This is going to be areas on 485 as you go out towards Plaza Road, the Plaza Road exit, Reedy Creek Road, these areas just south of the university area, Fairs Road, North Pine Hill Lane, Steepleton Way, excuse me, as I butcher their name there, Hood Road. This area right here in northeastern Mecklenburg County is the next area. You can see the circulation, and if you're wondering about the storm to the south, this has got a lot of what we call, just for layman's term, a lot of wiggles in it. It's got a lot of S-curves going on, and when we see S-curves in the circulations like this, a couple things are going. Where the wind's bulging out, you're getting this push of wind, and then in between you can get these little spin-ups or rotations. So that's why all along this line we're likely getting at least damaging winds, and at any moment you could see a quick spin up. Let me widen this just a little bit more and kind of show you the overall view. As Sarah was mentioning, these are moving fast, so if you can just wait these out, this will be out of our area shortly. This isn't going to be an all-night thing. This line is moving quickly at about 50 miles an hour. So it's flying, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It's good that it's going to be out of here quickly, but it's a bad thing because it doesn't give you a lot of time to give people a heads up. So I'm looking at the circulation again. This is on Albemarle Road, heading towards Pence Road right now, moving off towards the north and east at about 50 miles an hour. I mean, it's amazing how quickly these things are moving, Sarah.
Yeah, if we can transition here to weather 2, I'm going to show you just how, so we're focusing a lot on this green and red, and you're like, wait, what's going on exactly? We show these because as meteorologists, we can see really easily where the wind is going inbound and the wind is going outbound. So that's that rotation we like to track where the potential tornado could be. And it's moving now just latest 45 miles per hour. So it has pumped the brakes just a little bit, but that does not really indicate anything as whether the storm is strengthening or weakening, just the speed of the horizontal movement rather of this storm. So you've got a tornado warning going until 7, so that's about 12 minutes left, but it looks like it's just now passing over 485. So a lot of folks in the area getting off works, traffic jams, rush hour, not on top of the torrential downpour taking over the entire area. We did get some storm reports also back towards towards back towards York County, Chester County, of trees being down. So you need to keep that in mind, that even if you're not in that tornado warned area, you are still feeling the wind, hearing the wind, and certainly getting a lot of rain. So this does include Cabarrus County, Mecklenburg, and Union, just because of the way the county borders kind of line up here. Once again, the plaza, you are feeling the wind right here. Albemarle Road is where you're getting that. We see the history of the storm. Watch how that green and red is right here. It's moving really quickly, and then there towards Idlewild, and now moving towards Albemarle Road. So bigger picture showing you the storm reports we've had. Nothing tornadic technically yet, but like we said earlier, this same storm was in Atlanta earlier today with a history of producing tornado. Also near Greenville, South Carolina had the history there. So we've got some thunderstorm wind damage. We've got trees down. We've heard of sporadic power outages. So now's the time to be charging your phone. Hopefully you're listening to us on the app, or maybe joining us online, or watching us on television if you still have power and if you're not in your safe place. So still looking at this 10 minutes now, the countdown for this warning to be expired.
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of reports of power outages, trees down in the South Park area, Colony Road area. I just had somebody tweet me that the power's been out off of Colony Road for about 15 minutes or so. And I mean, it's pretty much, you can take the track of the storm, and these are where the reports are coming in. So we're getting ground truth that something went through there. Maybe it wasn't a tornado, maybe it was straight line winds, but clearly something's moved through. Now, the good news, this circulation, which was very prominent, is now weakening as it's approaching 485. It's one-sided a little bit, and sometimes that happens when a circulation starts to weaken the backside, or sometimes which is the rear flank downdraft in some of these bigger storms. It tends to take over, and the downdraft kind of overtakes the inflow, and you end up with just a big downburst. And that's why
basically the storm topples over.
Yeah, and so even after the tornado lifts, you sometimes get towards Tradesville. So Sarah did a great job explaining why we look at these. This is basically the point of having Doppler radar, is to look for circulation on the radar. And if you look carefully, we've got a couple areas of circulation, one here, let me erase that.
They do have a tornado warning for Lancaster, Brad, for
and
those notches.
Probably, definitely for that same storm that we've been keeping an eye on. So I think there's a good reason that we've got that warning in effect down there, because we've got circulations in this part and circulations up in here. And the way these storms tend to behave is that they produce a tornado with little warning, and then they pop back up. So let me go back to that velocity data again and kind of show you. We'll break this down. So the circulation here that I was showing you earlier has weakened up towards 45, but Matthews, there's a new circulation forming there. That looks prominent. Then we go south into parts of Lancaster County. You can see just south of Unity, Lingle's Crossroads and Saps Crossroads. This is heading towards you. And then there's another circulation south of Lancaster. So those are all things on the radar when I see those. If you ever had an X-ray or an MRI, those are things the doctor would see in something like that and say, hey, there's something going on there. As far as meteorologists, when we see that on Doppler radar, we say that catches our eye almost immediately, because there's a broad circulation there which is weakening, one near Matthews, and then a couple more down there. I've got a lot of questions online about how fast these are moving, 50 to 60 miles an hour in some cases. But once it moves through, the threat is done. So this is going to come at you like a ton of bricks, and then it's going to move out real quickly. You can see the warnings are up till the top of the hour. There's the current time. We keep it right up there, the data coming in. So about 7 more minutes, I'm going to venture to guess we're going to see an extension of both of these right now. I believe we got some pictures around Shopton Road.
Yeah, that's right. Let's check in now with Brandon Goldner. He's in our Chevy Storm Tracker. Brandon, are you seeing any damage, and what's the traffic like?
Well, right now the traffic on Shopton Road is pretty empty. This is where we're at right now. You can see there's really not many cars. The highways still have a lot of traffic. We passed over 485 and it was still bumper to bumper traffic. We're looking around to see if we see any sort of damage or anything, mainly just leaves and a couple small branches on the ground. Let's turn around and go back through Shopton Road again. We just reached the end of it, so we're going to turn around and go through Shopton Road again. Right now, we are not seeing any serious damage. Power still up. We still see Christmas lights up. Of course, it doesn't mean what other areas could have experienced, but we're going to keep on going through here. A couple cars still here. It looks like people are home. People are taking heed to the warning. Now we're starting to see some cars up here. The rain is kind of subsiding a bit. It's still a little bit of drizzling a little bit. Right now we're near the outlets, but right now we're not really seeing any damage. Definitely clearly a sign that there was some sort of strong winds, especially when you get more towards the woodsy parts of the road where the leaves are on the ground. So I'll send it back over to you guys.
Yeah, thank you very much. That's the area, but we got a lot of reports of that leaves and debris down. I just got a report from Plaza Midwood of the power being out there. They heard a transformer blow, and that's exactly where that circulation crossed over. And where that circulation is now, it's crossing the Mecklenburg-Cabarrus County line right around Rocky River Church Road as it splits into Lower Rocky River Church Road. You kind of know that area. It's right on the county line. And that's the circulation. I mean, it's amazing. We'll have to go back and see when these storm reports come in, but the reports I'm getting start from down here around Lake Wylie, and they pretty much follow this circulation across. Now, no massive damage, Sarah, but a lot of branches, power outages, you know, acorns, leaves being blown around.
Yeah, and it's that time of year where there is a lot of stuff on the ground to toss around. So you see that severe thunderstorm warning that was issued for parts of Uptown starting to be scaled back. So once that initial line passes through, most of the severe threat is over. But if you are on the other side, the east side of these warnings are in the warning zones, you need to get to your place quick because these storms are just marching through here really quickly.
Yeah, we're getting some new warnings east. So they're going ahead and just severe thunderstorm warning these for Anson, Richmond, and Stanley counties. So strong winds. We know one thing we know for sure, there are strong winds with these storms as they're pushing to the east, and then we're getting these occasional spin-ups of tornadoes. So I'm curious. I was just chatting with the Weather Service here to see if they were going to extend these warnings, and I'm not hearing anything back. If they're going to extend these warnings. I think it's going to be tough to pull these down because you might have a quick warning issued again just because of those circulations. Now, the one thing I'll keep flipping back and forth through is our dual pol data here to see if I see any debris. And right now, no debris showing up on the radar. But man, that line, there's just so many little appendages and like areas where they just strike me as there could be a tornado in there. So that's something definitely would keep an eye on, is if we see a continuation of these warnings. So here we are at 6:58 p.m. Normally you'd be watching NBC Nightly News. We're continuing to cover these tornado warnings, which are moving through the Charlotte area and the metro. These storms have had a long history today. They started last night, and unfortunately were fatal tornadoes down in Alabama and Mississippi. Today they moved across northern Georgia and then into the upstate of South Carolina, and now they're in our area. So this is the circulation the warning was initially issued for 7 o'clock. It's in southern Cabarrus County. There's another circulation near Matthews, but this looks very broad and weak. I'm not overly concerned. Both of these, from a meteorological standpoint, look a lot weaker, but the one thing we know, there's strong winds in there at the very least. We don't have the strong circulation. As soon as these move through, the backside clears out pretty quickly. This warning for southern Cabarrus County, the northern, extreme northern part of Union County and eastern Mecklenburg is about to expire here at 7 o'clock. So we'll have to see if these get extended off to the east. We're going to stay on the air here until this threat moves out, and we feel like the threat has diminished enough. So we're probably going to go right into some good shows here. So we're going to apologize ahead of time, but we're going to try to stay on top of this as these storms move off to the east. Are you seeing anything else there that looks like we're getting damage or anything like that?
I'm checking a lot of trying to get some reports in, but not really getting to a lot of people just saying, hey, it was here, it was loud, it was windy and rainy, and then it was gone. So that's hopefully the story for most of us in the area. Appreciate you guys kind of sticking with us as we keep you safe through this. And, you know, if you're able to send us reports on social media, please do so, but do not approach those down power lines or any active weather, of course, because it's nighttime, so you're not going to see anything rotating out of the sky. And this is just rain wrapped in a way, Brad. Just you're not going to see it. You're just going to hear it.
We just had both warnings expire. They were not extended, but they did extend a severe thunderstorm warning to the east for eastern Lancaster, and Chesterfield County. So just to recap, top of the hour, you're watching NBC Charlotte, WCNC. We are in continuing coverage now of severe weather that has been moving through the upstate of South Carolina and now North Carolina. Tornado warnings have expired. There are no current tornado warnings in effect. It doesn't mean we don't have some severe weather out there. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Cabarrus, Rowan, and Union County until 7:30. New warning was just issued for Anson, Richmond, and Stanley County till 7:45, and a new warning was issued for eastern Lancaster, Kershaw, and Chesterfield County till 7:45. So these are all severe thunderstorm warnings, which are now in effect for damaging straight line winds. This squall line, which is now flattening out, which is good news, pushing to the east at about 50 miles an hour. Just to give you a heads up, it's going to be in High Point at 7:30, Greensboro 7:45. Raleigh, if it holds together, around 8 o'clock tonight. So that's kind of a wider view. Let me go in closer and pinpoint some of the communities closer in that'll be impacted. We'll put a line right here on the leading edge of the gusty winds. It's already raining ahead of it, by the way. So the rain is already on you. It's the winds we're watching most carefully. Let's see if I can grab this.
Hey, Brad, I have a new, if you can move over to weather 2 back in the booth. In Pineville, we have you mentioned this, a tractor trailer truck overturned by wind around the 2300 block of Westinghouse Boulevard. Yeah. That's a thunderstorm wind damage. And to tell you this, a tractor trailer overturned, that's not anything to play with.
And that was at 6:30. That was exactly the time that we were looking at that circulation crossing that area. So, and Brandon Goldner's over in that area. He's off of Shopton. So that's the Steel Creek, southwest Mecklenburg County area. Westinghouse and basically South Tryon area there. There's a big QT right there. There's an Auto Bell just south of there, and then you travel a little bit farther north and you go towards IRC Village, and you've got Max Speed Shop and all that area right in there. That's just south of the Super Walmart off of 485 and I-77. So that's the area where we were tracking it, and it certainly looks like we had a tornado move through that area, if not straight line winds. You're right. You're not going over a tractor trailer. That's 60+ mile an hour winds.
Absolutely. And if you're just now getting home and wondered what you just drove through, we had tornado warnings starting in back towards Greenville, South Carolina. We tracked them all the way into York and Chester, and then parts of Mecklenburg County and Union County, and then it extended into Cabarrus, but now at 7 o'clock on the hour, expired. So that's what we've been doing. Yeah,
good news. Okay, so now that the tornado warnings have expired, we're going to continue our coverage online. We're not going away, but what we're going to do on air on WCNC, Channel 36 on air, NBC Charlotte, we are going to join Jeopardy already in progress. But if you're watching online or on air, go to our website, go to our app, go to our Facebook page. All those locations we will continue streaming live as we this severe weather. We're now going to return to Jeopardy, which is already in progress.